Managing a rabbitry is one of the most lucrative agricultural enterprises. In Nigeria, the demand for rabbits for several uses is on the rise. And starting your own rabbitry that will meet the market demand could give you a well-paying side hustle. However, managing a rabbitry is no easy task, and if the right measures are not implemented, you may end up losing all your investments in the first few months. One of the most important things to consider when starting a rabbit farm is rabbit food. Welcome to another episode of Animal Farm Africa, and in this video, we will learn how and what to feed rabbits and also what not to feed them. Rabbit feeding management is very important for every rabbit farmer due to the high cost of feeding and raising rabbits. Rabbit food consumes most of the total production cost of a rabbit farm, which is why a rabbit farmer should have a feeding management plan to help to reduce the operating cost of the farm. For the local farmer who aims to reduce operating costs and still produce highly valued rabbits, feed management becomes very important. Rabbits feed on plants, leaves, vegetables, and forage of almost any kind. These plants and leaves include some of the most common grasses that can be found growing in many parts of Nigeria and Africa and also the rest of the world. As a farmer, you can also grow them in a separate part of your farm to reduce feeding cost. You can also buy these grasses from other farms. These grasses are highly beneficial and contain most of the nutrients needed for the proper growth of the rabbit. Some of these grasses are the elephant grass, goose grass, guinea grass, banana and plantain leaf, bitter leaf, pawpaw leaf, pear leaf, pumpkin leaves, saltiso, potatoes leaf. Rabbit feed formulation helps you to save on rabbit food cost. With the formulation, you can easily decide the right feed that will be beneficial and save cost. A rabbit requires about 2,700 kilocalories of metabolic energy daily. Knowing this food composition and the total calorie requirements is important if you hope to run a successful rabbit farm. For some farmers, this feed formulation might cost a lot more in the long run, especially if the mortality rate of their rabbits is high. In such a case, the farmer can turn to rabbit pellet formation. The prices are quite affordable and you can easily buy them from the market. There are several things to consider when making a rabbit feed formula. It is important that the amount of feed you provide be determined by these factors. The factors include the age and productive performance of the rabbit. Rabbits at a particular age and productive stage require a certain amount of feed that will provide them with the correct amount of nutrients needed for their daily activities. Farmers can adopt two diets depending on the types of rabbits they are raising. These diets could be growing diets for the fryers or lactation diets for the does. Other factors that should be taken into consideration when making rabbit feed formulation. Feed requirements for growth. Baby rabbits require lots of nutrients for them to grow really fast and healthy. Usually, a crib diet is fed to babies to aid their growth. However, this diet could be very expensive. The good news is that baby rabbits can grow without this crib diet. All you have to do is to ensure that the right amount of nutrients are fed to them in the right proportions. The stage at which a rabbit's food requirement changes from milk to solid food is known as weaning. At this stage, the feed composition should contain more fiber than starch. This is because the rabbit might still be unable to digest starch. After 2 weeks of a high fiber and low starch diet, the rabbit should be able to digest starch. You can now switch to a high starch diet. During the lactation period, the nutrient requirements of the rabbit are mostly proteins, phosphorus, and calcium. The weight of the rabbit is another important factor to consider. A rabbit weighing 4 kilograms to 5 kilograms will have a different food and nutrient requirements compared with a rabbit that weighs more. A rabbit that weighs 4 kilograms to 5 kilograms will require a food composition of 150 grams of concentrates and 600 grams of green grass daily. This amount should be enough for the rabbit to maintain its body weight. Lactating does require more food even if they weigh about the same. They will require 200 grams of concentrates and 700 grams of green grass daily. Now let us look at the various rabbit feed ingredients. Grains include oats, barley, wheat, and grain sorghums. These grains can be fed to rabbits of all ages, including young ones. The grains should not be spoiled or moldy. Tougher grains should be crushed or grounded to enable the rabbits to consume them. However, soft varieties of grains, maize, can be eaten just the way they are. To prevent waste, feed should be pelleted before being served to the rabbits. If you ground and make the grains into a mash before serving, damp it with water to prevent dust from entering the rabbit's nose, as it could lead to irritation. Also, crops like sweet potatoes, sugar beets, carrots, and turnips are enjoyed by rabbits, so you can go for such crops. These crops and plants also contain many beneficial nutrients, and they are made up of a lot of water. However, greens are not effective enough in helping rabbits gain weight. This is why you should ensure that you feed them greens and concentrated feeds together. Whichever rabbit food you decide to include in the feed formulation, make sure it contains the right amount of nutrients and meets the rabbit's daily requirements. With proper feed management, you should be able to save on food and production costs. An adequate rabbit feed must contain lots of fresh, green vegetative matter. Rabbits are nocturnal and eat more at night. Rabbits eat most anything green, just like goats and cows. Rabbits like fresh food. Give them fresh feed twice a day, once in the morning and plenty at night. There are many tree leaves rabbits we eat, such as banana, mango, moringa. Rabbits love fruit. Feed them all the fruit that cannot be sold or eaten by humans, such as overripe bananas, with the peel, mangoes, pawpaw, avocados, pineapple, and guava. Rabbits require a variety of feed. It is not good to feed rabbits just one kind of feed for a long period of time. Always include 2 or 3 different kinds of forages in their feed. It is best to mix vines, tree leaves, plant leaves, and kitchen scraps. By offering several kinds, they get more complete nutrients in their food. What one feed lacks, another will add to the diet. Do not put rabbit feed on the cage floor where the rabbits can walk and urinate on it. Feed should be placed in a feeder that keeps the leaves above the rabbits, off the floor. If rabbits are allowed to trample their feed, it will wilt, be soiled and unfit for consumption. When caring for rabbits, remove the feed they have not consumed. The time schedule for feeding should be maintained strictly. If late in feeding rabbits, they become restless, and which in turn reduces the body weight. Due to high temperature in the daytime, the rabbits won't take much feed during daytime. But they are active at night. Therefore, green fodders are to be fed to the rabbits in the night, while concentrate should be served in the morning. Concentrate feed can be given in the form of pellets. If pellet feed is not available, the concentrate feed mixed with water can be given to the rabbits. Clean fresh water should be provided to rabbits at all times of the day. When introducing new feed to the rabbits, give it to them in small quantities for several days and observe them to make sure they can adapt to it. This is required for whatever you are feeding them with, whether greens, fruit, grain or concentrate. Do not forget to like this video and share to your farmer friends, as this knowledge will be most useful to them. To get more videos on how a beginner can start a successful rabbit farm, subscribe to Animal Farm Africa.